Cobra Commander is drowning, surrounded by killer crocodiles. How is he going to survive? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we return to the origin stories of the Cobra Commander. If you're lost in the sauce, go check out my previous videos. Playlist will be linked below. Now, let's get into it because Nemesis is pissed off. I told you to stand beside me and you ran off. You ran off. Wherever you are, I hope you're in pain. As he walks through the jungle, grabbing onto an anaconda and ripping it apart. It must have not known he wasn't the apex predator. And honestly, his wish came through. The Cobra Commander was in pain. He was drowning. Thankfully, he had his trusty gun by his side, putting a bullet in the alligator's head. But I guess the jaw clamped down way too hard. He was still sinking, and he was sinking hard, till all of a sudden, a spike embeds itself in the crocodile. Seeing this as an opportunity to escape his fate, he grabs a hold. Unknown to him, that was a mistake. The Dreadnoks were about to have a family meeting, and just to get people's attention, Ripper puts a bullet in one of his boys. Like, bruh, pay attention. Zarana, the leader at this point, shows them the juice they got. Energon. Pure Energon. She knew this was going to be a game changer for all of them. They were going to sell it to the highest bidder. But for now, she wanted her boys to be careful. Some people have been around here sniffing around for this technology. We have to protect it. Shorty didn't know her brother was coming with a gift. He came with the Cobra Commander. He was the one that was fishing at the bayou. Buzzer, realizing that this was the prick they were searching for, he wanted to see his face, but as soon as he grabbed the mask, he was shocked to reality. Slasher thought this was funny and they got into a fight, but this was not the time to fight, not in front of the enemy. Zarana asked him straight up, "Who are you?" And Cobra Commander replied, "Your master." And she said, "Burn this prick." They burned his face. They tried to get into the mask one way or another, but that shit was too strong. It did damage, but it wasn't coming off. So they started to torture. They burned him, they crushed him, they shocked him, but nothing, not even a sound came from his mouth. They even beat him black and blue with the baseball bat. He still didn't talk. Buzzer got so pissed off, he used the chainsaw on this guy's flesh, but still no sound was made. Slasher knew he was still in pain, so just to cheer him up, he used his own blood to paint a smiley face on his mask, and he looked extra menacing. But his torture time was over. It was time to trade up. The brother of Zarana was not a brute though. He valued technology, he valued knowledge, and from one glance he knew this technology was abnormal. "You aren't from around here, right?" The Cobra Commander smiled and started using his one most valuable skill, his mouth. Convincing Zarana's brother that he was an outsider, his sister didn't trust him, forcing him to run. Even Buzzer knew this was weird. He never gets flustered, but Cobra Commander faced him, calling him a wannabe who was previously a teacher, now his forming biker. Everyone behind you is laughing at you. The only person that realized that he was dangerous was Zarana herself. "You are destabilizing my boys." The Cobra Commander tried to play her too, saying you're losing control of your men. And at that moment, the boys were actually fighting. Torch was the only one that said, "Bruh, focus. He is the enemy. He is playing you." Realizing that the game was over, the Cobra Commander just pushed a button. And she realized that, yeah, he just turned on his tracker. Get him the fuck out of here. But it was too late. Nemesis was here and he was pissed off, shattering the chains they used to capture the commander. He was about to do business when Buzzer struck him in the face. That's when they realized this brother ain't human. The Cobra Commander simply told him they have what we need, but they are getting in the way. So Nemesis decided, "I'm done hiding. They all die now." Ripping off his own flesh to find out the flesh was the costume. Underneath was the real him, and he was a monster. The massacre began, and the Cobra Commander enjoyed every second of it before realizing he still had a mission, commanding one of the Dreadnoks to show him to the lab. As soon as he stepped foot in the lab, he saw the scientist working with the lot of Energon, and he was surprisingly happy to see the commander. But right above ground, the Dreadnoks were dying. and they were dying like flies. Their bodies littered the floor like actual insect. And just to provide cover, Zarana's brother pushed Buzzer to the walls like go distract him. This was bad, because this monster only saw red. He grabbed Buzzer and took flight. With this powerful grip, he crushed his arm and tossed him to the lake to drown. While his teammates, the rest of the Dreadnoks, tried to fight, thankfully they had spare energon, and with one direct shot, they brought that monster down, using the opportunity to escape. While Nemesis recovered, the commander was in heaven. This was the type of technology he dreamed of. All the technology he had to make himself in a forest. But this was outer-worldly, literally. More than that, he wanted to see what the professor came up with. So the professor showed him he could refine raw energon into cube form. And with this cube of pure energon, he fed it to his robots, who ate it and evolved right in front of him. They were more than they were before. This was insane. This was a breakthrough. And this was what he needed to go back to his people, a champion. Back at the surface though, Nemesis was waiting, and he asked one simple thing: success. The Cobra Commander said, obviously. We made a breakthrough. We have what we need. We will be heroes when we return. And this was all Nemesis needed to hear. He stood in front of the commander like a brick wall and did not move. The commander said, what are you doing? Move. Walking beside him, but Nemesis blocked his way again. You fucking buffoon, move out of my way. Nemesis just smacked him like a rag doll. Watching these two have a quarrel, Slasher decided to run away, and the commander told Nemesis to attack. But Nemesis was focused on the commander. For what reason? Using that big brain of his, the commander thought, oh, I get it. You were not just sent here to protect me. You were sent to put me down as soon as you found the energon. Is that correct? Nemesis was silent. That is when he knew, yeah, I am fucking screwed.